Truth and truth are actually treated in hard periods of social life. What were the difficulties of the reporting, particularly from Russia to the USA, throughout history? Which problems are still unsolved? Professor Owen Johnson from Indiana University, whose interests extend more generally to mass media in East Central and Eastern Europe, visited Lomonosov Moscow State University, the Faculty of Journalism, and presented his own answers to these questions, even a lecture on American correspondence in Russia.
The country's size, of course, is enormous. It was even larger during the days of the Soviet Union. The difficulties of travel, especially a century ago, were enormous. Language is a challenge.
Protests, strikes, labor riots and public disorders, the February and October revolutions, the civil war and political repressions. The strenuous events of the 20th century attracted attention of many American correspondents who worked in Russia and went down in history for their reports. Among the most famous correspondents were John Reed, best remembered for the first-hand account of the Bolshevik Revolution and his book 10 Days That Shook the World. Albert Rees Williams, famous for writing memories about the October Revolution, an event in which he was both a witness and a participant. Walter Duranty, a journalist who served as the Moscow bureau chief of the New York Times and won a Pulitzer Prize for his stories on the Soviet Union. These and many other correspondents worked for different companies and news agencies.
And by 1980, there were 250 correspondents representing 100 news organizations in 40 countries. 20 of them were Americans.
Some of the correspondents knew Russian, others did not. Some journalists were given good working conditions, while their colleagues have to solve serious problems. But they all tried to understand what was going on inside Russia and experience what it was like to be a citizen of this country. According to Professor Johnson, there is a good coverage of Russia nowadays, but getting access to information is still the biggest problem for the American journalists.
Or they can read economic reports, they can read various information about things going on, but trying to actually confirm the information is very difficult. So they spend a lot of time on the telephone trying to make contact with people, and they do quite well, but there are only 24 hours in a day, and that makes it hard.
Another challenge which American correspondents and all foreigners who come to Russia have to deal with is that they see things on the surface, taking the surface for the reality. In fact, one needs much effort to immerse into the Russian culture.
If you want to get a full understanding of what Russian life is like, you need to gather around a kitchen table with some vodka and some bread, and to be able to talk freely, and then you can get under the surface, and I think that's difficult for journalists from the United States.
Although it is quite hard to experience the true spirit of Russia, which was described by Winston Churchill as a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma, once a person solves the riddle, he or she generally likes the key.
I've been very fortunate in the time that I have been here. I've always had the opportunity to be able to talk to people at great length and understand a lot about what's going on here, and I don't have to worry about censorship.
The students of our faculty always try to be aware of the current issues in the world of mass media. So we want to thank Professor Johnson and hope to see him as a guest of Lomonosov Moscow State University soon. Daisy Polikova, Student TV channel Mahavaya 9.